If you are sitting in your kitchen right now, looking at a piece of broccoli and feeling a genuine sense of dread, I want you to know that you are exactly where you need to be. Hi, this is Pediatrics Now YouTube channel. Starting baby-led weaning is one of the first times as a parent where you feel like you are intentionally putting your child in a risky situation. The fear of choking isn't just a small worry. For many of us, it's a paralyzing barrier that keeps us stuck on thin purees longer than we ever intended. But here is the shift in perspective you need. Fear usually comes from a lack of control. Today, I am giving that control back to you. We aren't just going to talk about cutting food. We are going to talk about the physics of the infant airway, the mechanical limitations of a 6-month-old's jaw, and the biological safety nets that nature built into your baby to keep them safe. By the time we finish this deep dive, you won't just be trying solid foods. You will be the master of your kitchen, equipped with the skills to turn almost any family meal into a safe, developmental masterpiece for your baby. To understand how to cut, you first have to understand how your baby moves. At 6 months old, your baby is a palmar grasper. They don't have the fine motor skills to use their thumb and index finger, what we call the pincer grasp. That won't show up for another few months. When a baby picks something up right now, they use their whole hand like a scoop or a club. If you give them a small, bite-sized piece of food, it gets completely enclosed in their palm. They know it's there, they can smell it, but they can't get it to their mouth because it's trapped in their fist. This leads to two things: frustration and hand shoving. When a baby gets frustrated, they often try to shove their entire fist into their mouth to reach the food, a major gagging trigger. This is why the finger shape is the absolute law of the land. By cutting food into long, sturdy spears, you are giving them a handle. They hold the bottom 50% in their palm, and the top 50% pokes out like a lollipop. This allows them to bring the food to their mouth, gnaw on the end, and pull the food back out if they feel like they've taken too much. It gives the baby the off-ramp they need to eat safely. Let's talk about the anatomy of a choking hazard. Why are we so obsessed with lengthwise and quartering? Your baby's airway is roughly the diameter of a drinking straw. Choking occurs when a foreign object creates a mechanical seal over that opening. For a seal to happen, the object usually needs to be three things: round, firm, and slippery. Think of a whole grape as a cork for a baby's bottle. If a whole grape or a round coin of a hot dog slides to the back of the throat, it can sit perfectly over the trachea. Because it's firm, it doesn't compress to let air through. Because it's slippery, the baby's natural cough might not be enough to gain traction to eject it. When we cut that grape into 4 long slivers, or we slice that hot dog into thin matchsticks, we have destroyed the geometry of the hazard. Even if a sliver of grape ends up in the back of the throat, it cannot create a 360-degree seal. Air can still pass around the edges. We aren't changing the food, we are changing the physics of the interaction. If you feel overwhelmed by all the different foods, I want you to rely on the 2-finger rule. This is your universal template for 90% of what you serve. Every piece of food should be approximately the length and width of 2 adult fingers joined together. First, let's look at the length. If the piece of food is shorter than your finger, it's too small and will get lost in their hand. Second, look at the width. If it's as thin as a toothpick, it's a snap hazard. If it's too thick, they won't be able to get their mouth around it to munch. Aim for the width of a sturdy, thick French fry. Finally, consider the structural integrity. You want the food to be soft, but not so fragile that it falls apart the moment they pick it up. If it disintegrates in their hand, they can't practice the hand-to-mouth coordination that BLW is designed to teach. If you are serving slippery foods like steamed pears or mango, invest $5 in a crinkle cutter. Those wavy ridges provide friction, helping the baby's hand hold onto the food easily. Save this video for your next meal prep session. I'm here if you have more questions. There are specific foods that are red zone items until they are modified. Let's go through the big 5 and how to neutralize them one by one. 1. Grapes and cherry tomatoes. Never serve these whole. Always cut them lengthwise into 4 long quarters. 2. Blueberries. These are tricky because they vary in size. The safest way to serve a blueberry is to put it on the tray and press it with your thumb until it pops into a flat disc. A flat disc cannot plug an airway like a round berry can. 3. Sausages and hot dogs. These are statistically the most dangerous food for children. You must peel the casing off, as that skin is a separate choking risk. Then slice the meat into long, thin matchsticks. 4. Hard fruits like apples or raw carrots. These are the biggest culprits for choking because they can break off into hard chunks. You must steam or roast these until a fork slides through with 0 resistance. 5. Nut butters. A spoonful of peanut butter is like mouth glue. To serve this, thin it out with warm water or breast milk until it's a runny drizzle. Let's walk through a standard day of meals and how to prep them like a pro. For breakfast, let's talk about the banana. Don't just slice it. If you peel a banana and stick your finger into the top, it naturally breaks into 3 perfect long segments. These segments are the ultimate BLW finger size. For lunch, let's look at the avocado. Cut the avocado into wedges, but leave a small strip of the skin at the bottom. This acts like a handle, so the slippery fruit doesn't shoot out of the baby's hand. For dinner, broccoli is a superstar food. Serve a large floret with a long stalk so the baby can brush their gums against the texture. Finally, let's talk about protein like steak or chicken. At 6 months, babies don't really chew meat, they suck it. Cut a strip the size of 2 fingers. They will gum it to extract the iron and juices, then spit out the remaining wad of meat. This is perfectly safe and highly nutritious. Shape is only half of the safety equation. The second half is texture. Before anything leaves your cutting board, you must perform the squish test. Take the food between your thumb and index finger to mimic the strength of an infant's gums. Press down firmly. If it squishes into a pulp, it is safe for the baby to manage. If it snaps or breaks into hard shards, it needs more cooking. If it feels rubbery or bouncy like a piece of thick ham, it's a hazard. We want the food to be al dente for adults, but mushy for babies. If you are roasting vegetables, they should be soft enough to mash against the roof of your mouth with just your tongue. That is the standard of safety you are looking for every single time. This is the part that causes the most table-side panic. You will see your baby gag. It is not a matter of if, but when. Gagging is a safety feature built by nature. In infants, the gag reflex is located much further forward on the tongue than it is in us. This means the body triggers a reflex to push food forward long before it hits the throat. Gagging looks like coughing, sputtering, and a red face. The rule is, if the baby is loud and red, stay calm and let them work. Do not reach into their mouth. Choking, however, is silent and blue. This is when you perform infant back blows. Knowing this distinction is what allows you to enjoy your meals together. If they are making noise, they are breathing. You have just digested a massive amount of safety information. You are giving your child the gift of a healthy relationship with food. You're doing an incredible job. Hey, do consider subscribing to the channel for more important stuff, and press the bell icon so you never miss any videos like these. Watch more videos here.